Alice Madness Returns takes us back to Wonderland, but this isn't the whimsical land of tea parties and talking rabbits. This Wonderland is twisted, broken, and reflects the trauma of our protagonist, Alice Liddell. Today, we're diving into the mind-bending world of this game, exploring its story, themes, and psychological depth. Alice Madness Returns is a dark reimagining of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, blending psychological horror, action-adventure, and platforming elements. Developed by Spicy Horse and released in 2011, it serves as a sequel to American McGee's Alice, a cult classic known for its dark take on the Alice mythos. The game pulls players into a shattered version of Wonderland, serving as a metaphor for the broken psyche of its protagonist, Alice Liddell. The game opens with Alice Liddell struggling to recover from the tragic fire that claimed her family's life.
To Wonderland.
I'd rather not, Doctor. My Wonderland's shattered. It's dead to me.
Your preference doesn't signify, girl. Now, Alice, where are you?
I'm sailing with a friend. It's different somehow. Things have changed.
Change is good. It's the first link in the chain of forgetting.
What's happening? Are you mad?
I'm not mad.
Rabbit,
That's not right. What's he doing?
is something wrong?
Something wrong?
Not that!
Don't struggle, Alice. Let the new Wonderland emerge.
Corruption?
Her mind is fractured, and as she moves between reality and Wonderland, the lines between the two worlds blur. In the real world, she's under the care of Dr. Bumby, a psychiatrist who promises to help her forget her traumatic past.
In my chest.
Yes, well, the cost of forgetting is high.
My memories make me vomit. What can I...
Remember other things.
I want to forget. Who would choose to be alone, imprisoned by their broken memories?
I'll set you free, Alice. Memory is a curse more often than a blessing.
So you've said many times, and
I will say again, the past must be paid for. Now, before our next session, collect those pills from our high street chemist.
very well, Doctor.
In Wonderland, Alice embarks on a journey to restore the world to its former state as it reflects her inner turmoil. As she progresses, Wonderland becomes more chaotic and dangerous, mirroring her declining mental state. Along the way, Alice encounters familiar but twisted characters, like the Cheshire Cat, the Mad Hatter, and the Queen of Hearts, each reflecting a piece of her fragmented mind.
Ah, it's you again, Alice. You may approach.
Why would I do that? You want to eat me?
Yes, well, you taught me manners, and I've lost my taste for mad women. Strictly a porcine diet for me. Everything's better with bacon, don't you agree? Of course you do. Now, there are pig snouts scattered about. I heard a few behind the house. Go fetch them for me. But take care for the pests that block your way. Pepper them up if they do. They need spice, and you're just the girl to season them for me. You'll find that grinder serviceable.
Why not season your own pig parts?
Matter of priorities. My alabaster skin needs protection from the disgusting creatures running amok amidst the environs. But one gets peckish. Look, all you have to do is listen for the oink, then shoot the snout. You may like the results. I certainly will.
Throughout the game, Alice seeks the truth about her family's death, believing her memories are being manipulated. Her journey through Wonderland reveals that the fire may not have been an accident.
The Hatter's domain, almost as I remember it.
Appearances, as you know better than most, can be deceiving, Alice. Much has changed since your last visit.
Dr. Bumby says change is constructive, that different is good.
Different denotes neither bad nor good, but it certainly means not the same. Find the Hatter, Alice. He knows more about different than you.
But does he know more about the difference between bad and good?
Making friends, Alice. You're as randomly lethal and entirely confused as you ever were.
I've managed without you so far, Cat. Return to whatever hovels home to you. I'll call if I need you.
Predictably rash. It's not a question of if, Alice, it's when. Now hold on, and as they say, shut up.
So typical.
As she battles her way through this deteriorating world, the final confrontation with the doll maker, a grotesque representation of her trauma, forces Alice to confront the darkest truth. Dr. Bumby was responsible for the fire, intending to exploit Alice and erase her memories. One of the central themes of Alice Madness Returns is mental illness and trauma. Wonderland is not just a whimsical fantasy land, it's a manifestation of Alice's fractured psyche. The environments, characters, and conflicts within Wonderland symbolize the emotional and psychological challenges Alice faces as she struggles to come to terms with her past. The corruption of innocence is another prominent theme. Wonderland, once a place of imagination and wonder, has become a grotesque, hostile place, reflecting Alice's loss of innocence after the tragic fire. Characters like the Queen of Hearts and the Dollmaker serve as representations of Alice's internal struggle for control and her repressed memories.
The vorpal blade is swift and keen and always ready for service.
I've not come back here looking for a fight.
Really? That's a pity. One's certainly looking for you.
The theme of memory plays a vital role in the game's narrative. Alice is piecing together her fragmented memories, and different locations in Wonderland symbolize specific moments or emotions tied to her past. For example, the dollhouse represents Alice's childhood and the innocence she's lost. The Queen of Hearts symbolizes her battle for control over her mind, while Dr. Bumby represents the manipulative authority figure exploiting her trauma.
A flower's purpose is simple and immutable. Human purpose is fickle, because it is a slave to memory. Memories must be strictly managed, Alice. Unproductive ones must be eliminated.
Alice is no longer the curious child exploring Wonderland in American McGee's Alice. Now, she's an adult grappling with the immense guilt and trauma of her family's death. Her mental journey is mirrored in Wonderland's decline, and her internal battles manifest as physical enemies she must face.
The railway running through Wonderland sounds charming, but inefficient. Noise and smoke, like snips and snails, perhaps. Best to forget that train. A mock turtle as conductor? Oh, no, I don't think that will do at all.
The Cheshire Cat is Alice's guide through Wonderland, offering cryptic advice that pushes her towards self-discovery. He's not a traditional ally, but rather a symbol of Alice's subconscious mind, constantly urging her to confront the truth.
Very upsetting journey, but I'm rid of Pris, or whatever she's become. At least the place I've landed is somewhat familiar.
About time, too, Alice.
Blasted cat. Don't try to bully me. I'm very much on edge.
Perfect. When you're not on edge, you're taking up too much space.
You're no help at all.
But you know I can be.
I'll frighten myself when necessary, thanks very much. I was hoping to escape from all that.
Abandon that hope. A new law reigns in this Wonderland, Alice. It's very rough justice all round. We're at risk here. You be on your guard.
The Mad Hatter is a twisted version of the original character, obsessed with time and control. His domain reflects Alice's struggle to regain control of her mind, as the Hatter's world is one of mechanical chaos, representing the fragmented and disorderly nature of her thoughts.
Bad dream. A blasted good night.
Hatter, I recall leaving you in a decrepit condition, but
What?
not in pieces.
Oh, it's you.
What's happened here? You've lost your hat, and some parts are missing.
Missing indeed, though things being what they are. I barely missed their missing. As to what's happened, you should know that better than I. It's your place after all. I know my place.
When did you ever know your place, or how to keep it? Now what's going on?
That's going on. And round and up and down into my ears and through my eyes and up my nostrils, down my gullet and whining in my guts.
Papa was exceedingly fond of trains. I don't like them much.
You won't like this one at all. Nothing like when Mock Turtle was in charge of the looking glass line. This railroad's a bloody shambles. The tink is ferocious, the light blinding, the noise hellacious.
Quite, Tata. I get the idea. A bad train.
The world is upside down, Alice. Inmates run the asylum. No thanks. And worst of all, I'm left tealess.
Tragic. If I do help, will you help me in return?
Cross my heart, if I had one. Find my limbs and toss them into the chute. Machines will do the rest. Be on your way now, that's a good girl. Best way out is through the clock face.
And then we have Dr. Bumby, the true antagonist of the story. While he appears as a helpful psychiatrist in the real world, his true intentions are far more sinister. He represents the societal pressures and authority figures who exploit vulnerability, and as the story progresses, we learn that he manipulated Alice's memories for his own gain. Dr. Bumby's actions ultimately cause Alice to confront her darkest fears, his betrayal, and the role he played in the fire.
It's my turn to forget, Alice.
Now, Charlie, your pa was hung for killing your ma who beat you. Let's forget that, shall we? The past is dead, Charlie. Miserable hovel, the family that wasn't, they never were. You're home now, Charlie. Relax. You're floating. Listen. They're gone.
The visual design of Alice Madness Returns is nothing short of stunning. The game's gothic art style creates a striking contrast between the real world and Wonderland. The real world is drab, gray, and depressing, mirroring Alice's bleak mental state. Wonderland, on the other hand, is vibrant but decayed, a fantastical yet disturbing place that reflects her inner turmoil. Iconic locations like the Mad Hatter's Domain, the Queen's Castle, and the Dollhouse are not only beautifully designed but are also filled with visual metaphors. For instance, the Dollhouse is an unsettling reminder of Alice's lost childhood, and the mechanical world of the Hatter reflects her fractured mind, where nothing is quite as it seems. Character designs also add to the psychological atmosphere. The characters we meet are grotesque exaggerations of their original counterparts, their twisted forms reflecting Alice's distorted perception of reality. The gameplay in Alice Madness Returns complements the narrative perfectly. The combat system is fluid and offers a range of weapons that feel as unique as Wonderland itself. Alice wields the Vorpal blade, a symbol of her ability to cut through the chaos of her mind, as well as the pepper grinder and hobby horse, which bring an odd, whimsical flavor to the combat. The platforming sections are integral to the game, with Alice shrinking to fit into small spaces or gliding through the air using her dress. These mechanics aren't just gameplay elements. They represent Alice navigating the complexities of her mind, as she works her way through puzzles that reflect her fragmented thoughts.
It could have happened that way, Alice. You remember poor Mr. Crew died, didn't he? Dr. Wilson rejects spontaneous combustion, but I trust Mr. Dickens.
Boss fights are key moments that reflect her psychological battles, each enemy serving as a metaphor for Alice's internal struggles. These confrontations with twisted versions of familiar Wonderland characters push Alice to face the truth behind her trauma. As Alice moves through Wonderland, she's not just battling enemies, she's fighting her own mind. The game is a masterclass in psychological storytelling, using Wonderland as a metaphor for Alice's repressed trauma. Each enemy she faces, each puzzle she solves, brings her closer to understanding the truth behind her family's death. At the heart of the narrative is the theme of repressed memory. Alice's mind has shielded her from the truth, manipulating her memories to protect her from the pain of what really happened. The game's final act, where Alice confronts the Dollmaker, reveals the full extent of this repression. The Dollmaker is a twisted, nightmarish figure who represents Alice's trauma being manipulated by Dr. Bumby, who has been shaping her memories for his own benefit. Alice Madness Returns is more than just a game. It's a dark, emotional journey through the mind of a deeply traumatized individual. Its blend of psychological horror, beautifully twisted art design, and compelling narrative make it a standout in the action-adventure genre. It's a game that stays with you long after the final credits roll, thanks to its haunting depiction of trauma and the power of the mind to both protect and destroy. If you haven't played Alice Madness Returns, I highly recommend giving it a try, whether for its story, its stunning art, or its unique gameplay. Let me know your thoughts on Alice's journey, and feel free to share your interpretations of the game's psychological depth in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.